Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday to you all. It's time for our chart of the week, and this week we're going to be zoning in on Adobe Systems, one of our big cap technology names. So let's go ahead and mark this chart up as we go along, shall we? Adobe, you can see going back to late summer, put in that low around the Brexit, and it wasn't really too damaging. It looks like it was, but frankly, it was about a 10% move down, but it bounced back and picked it all up. And then after it reported earnings in late June, and has been making a nice series of higher highs and higher lows since then. We just see an interim low in August. We have a higher low in September. It gapped up after the earnings, and we were on this name in explosive options. So that's been it's been a good one. But since the gap up and reaching up towards the 110 level, the stock has been really moving along in a narrow range here and tightening into somewhat of a symmetrical type triangle. And we see that on Monday, this past Monday, the stock broke out and into a new all-time high territory on some pretty decent volume here. We have a pending MACD buy signal, and we see what happened after it crossed over in the early part of October. This was becoming corrective in nature. When we get big shots up like this that we did in earnings in September, the stock needs to cool down a little bit. We're going to get that MACD crossover here, but in this particular case, it was well above the zero line. And again, just corrective in nature. And we can see actually what's interesting is that on the momentum indicator down here on the bottom, this is the Williams %R, there were bull retests, not just one, but two, which means that it pulled down below the -20 line. And once it pulls down below the -20 line, those are buying opportunities. So we saw a buying opportunity come up around here, and then right around here just a couple of days later, it's up and away. We often find, and we often say that the best stocks are the most difficult ones to get on board and get on the trend. Adobe is one of those because if you look at this particular gap up, it was a big one. It was up about 7.5% post earnings in September. Where were you going to get on board, right? I mean, you see this thing going, gapping up and staying up there, and the first thought that goes through your mind is that, oh man, I'm not going to get on this thing because right when I get onto it, it's going to start rolling over. And that's really not the case with strong trending momentum stocks, right? But we've seen this happen over and over again. So what we like here is the fact that it moved up today on pretty substantial volume. We'd like to see another follow through day on Tuesday and into Wednesday to see the stock move up into much higher ground. But this is an all-time high for Adobe, and we still are on the name. We're in the 105 calls, and actually some 110 calls as well too. So we like the stock for some further gains down the road. The only caution I would tell you is that relative strength is at a level where it could reverse quite sharply. But given the fact that the stock has held up really, really nicely for the past 3.5 weeks since the earnings came out in September, leads me to believe that the relative strength is probably not going to be an issue, and especially if we get another move upwards. That's Adobe. Thanks very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.